Hey everybody, I'm Jerry Miculek, and I've got a bunch of PCC guns in front of me here. Pistol caliber carbine, just a real hot division now in USPSA. Give you an idea of what's going on with the different manufacturers. I've got several of them here. So I'm going to kind of go through them one at a time and give you some insight on what's available and what makes them different than one to the other. So we'll start with the original PCC. It's an old Colt. I had this one. I bought this right before the assault weapons ban, so it's been around for a long time. It comes with a straight, it's a blowback action like all of these except one. We have one gas operated action. So it's a blowback operated. It comes with a 30 round, let me see what I did with the mag. It comes with a 32 round stick mag. I put a boot on it so it holds I think 38 now. This is probably the father of all these other guns here. Straight blowback, 32 round semi-automatic. They also make it in fully automatic for law enforcement. I've got a Ruger carbine here, PC Carbine. It's kind of unique. It has a threaded muzzle. It has a fluted barrel, a set of peep sights in the rear here, and of course a blade front sight. It's a quick takedown too, so all you guys that are kind of survival oriented, it's got a takedown feature. It uses either the Ruger magazine or you have a conversion block. You can shoot the Glock pistol magazine in it. So we'll get to that in just a second. It's a blowback operated gun. It has a more conventional look to it. The trigger group is really similar to a 1022, and it will take the hammer and trigger out of a 1022 trigger assembly. So I'm sure there's some aftermarket parts coming out for this also. It looks like it has an adjustable pull here. It's a Ruger top to bottom, so nice setup. It's more conventional styling. We've got a JP Enterprises PCC carbine. This is a side cocker. It has ambidextrous safeties on it. It has his roller trigger. This is a top of the line gun. It has the cooling fin on the barrel. His compensator, his competition handguard, sling swivels, an ace buttstock. It's just a top-notch setup. I've had this one quite a while. Shot it in practice. One of my practice guns. I like to cross train on different equipment, so it's kind of a. This is a new one, just got this one in. It's an MPX. It's their gun top to bottom. It has a mag well, extended magazine release, bolt release, and a large safe. It's got a stainless steel barrel with their proprietary compensator on it, their handguard, about a 5 position adjustable stock, and a matched trigger. So this one actually uses, which is kind of different. We'll show you this a little bit on in the video too. This bolt assembly actually uses an M16 extractor on it, so it's a little bit more robust than some of the other guns here. So that's one of the unique features with it. But another thing these guys are doing, this is kind of unique, MPX, is they've taken the Glock magazines, and that's a theme you're going to see that's very popular in PCC, is the Glock 31 round magazine. So they make adapters for it. This is the large one. It'll hold 57 rounds, and they have a shorter one that holds, I think, 47 or something like that. So they make these in different colors, different sizes for competition. And they also make, this is kind of trick too, they also make different buffer assemblies. So you can tune it different ways. And that's kind of an individual thing. What level of ammunition, what power factor. So their buffer assembly allows you to kind of tinker with it and find what you like or what you want to change. So that's the fun of setting up these guns, is that you can kind of tune them to who you are and the level of ammunition that you're shooting. So a lot of products out there that feature that. MPX is right there with the best of them. This is a Stern Defense, and this is actually a conversion that I was sent. I have a conversion block. Let me take the flag out. This is a Smith & Wesson lower, and I just dropped the conversion block in it. When you assemble it correctly, this mag release button will not work, and you use the one on the bottom. It has a full floating handguard, their compensator. This has been a really good one. I practice with this one a lot. I use Glock magazines, so it's a good setup. I've shot, I don't know, a good 5-gallon bucket worth of ammunition through it and haven't had a malfunction with it yet. So it's one of my training guns. On down the line, we have a Sig. This is the MPX. It's the only gas-operated gun in the whole group. It has a rotary bolt, three locking lugs. It's gas-operated, so it doesn't recoil as much as the rest of them. It has ambidextrous safeties. Their target trigger, folding stock, ambidextrous charge handle, bolt release, mag release. So it's pretty much ready to roll. The difference on this one is that the muzzle is threaded with a left-hand thread. So it came out of the box the way it was sent to my daughter Lena, who shoots for Sig. It has left-hand thread. It didn't have a comp on it, so I don't know what the deal is there. I just got it in about a day ago, 2 days ago, and haven't had a chance to really do anything with it except sight it in. It's got a Magpul buttstock on it, so and a folding stock. So the only gas-operated gun in the bunch. And this is a CMMG. This is their PCC gun. It's a 9mm, of course. Has a compensator, the same floating handguard. Their competition. This is the Geisley trigger, a match trigger in it. The bag release is in a standard place. But what they did here, they actually altered a standard M16 or AR-15 bolt, and they altered the locking lugs. This is like a delayed blowback action setup in it. It's not gas operated, but it does have a rotary bolt, so it'll function a little bit lighter. I mean, it'll feel a little bit lighter on the shoulder when you shoot it than the straight blowback guns. So I'm kind of interested in getting that on the range and shooting it also. So what you notice on the CMMG, it's a dedicated receiver. It'll only take locked magazines. Same thing with the MPX. Sig, of course, has their proprietary magazine. They use a double column, double feed magazine, whereas the Glock pistol magazines are double column single feed magazines. So most sub guns use a magazine with a feed like this. But the Glock magazines have been extremely popular and they work extremely well in this application. So you have a bunch of different guns here. All have different features, and we're going to break them down a little bit more in detail and show you what's available. Give you an idea what's going on with this Colt. This is the original Colt 9mm carbine. The bolt assembly uses their specific hammer, and this hammer works only on this conversion. This is kind of an old school deal, and I think they did that so you couldn't mix them together. So what you want to be careful of when you're buying aftermarket parts, you want to make sure that your bolt is compatible with the standard AR-15 receiver group and hammer assembly. So this carbine uses a very specific hammer, so you're locked into what you can do as far as putting a trigger in an aftermarket trigger. The MPX, I took this one out to show you. It actually has what appears to be an M16 extractor assembly on it. It's very robust, and it appears to have a drop-in match-grade trigger assembly, so the bolt is compatible with most aftermarket trigger assemblies, so that's a good thing. The Sig itself is a totally different animal. It's a gas-operated gun. It's got a rotary bolt, dual recoil springs. It's a very compact action, very quick cycling action. If you get to shoot one of these, it's pretty trick. So they also make this in a fully automatic for law enforcement and stuff like that. It's a nice setup. Folding stock. Of course, the action springs are on the bolt, so you can put a folding stock on it. Kind of limits you on what you can do with a buffer assembly, which you can't do anything at all. So it's all on the bolt. And the CMMG is a totally different animal. It appears to be a standard AR receiver bolt, bolt carrier and bolt, but it's actually different. It has a spring-loaded bolt in the carrier, but you see on the front here, the lugs are tapered, and this is how this thing works. It's kind of a short delay blowback action. So it's locked up. You fire it, it blows back. It takes some of the recoil out. Straight blowback gun is gonna always recoil more than one with a locked breech. So it's going to be interesting to get this out on the range and rattle battle with it and see what it feels like. So this is a CMMG, a Sig, MPX, and the old Colt design. So a lot of different pieces and parts out there. So that's what makes this division fun.